Good morning, everyone. Really, I miss you so much. And today, let's start a new session. Chapter 9, It's Alive or Is It? Section 2, The Necessities of Life. You can use your green interactive book, page 187. And at this session, you will be able to, number one, explain why organisms need food, water, air, and living space. Number two, describe the chemical building block of cells. The materials needed, your notebook, your book, your booklet, and your pen, of course, to answer with me. Okay, and now, do you remember what the difference between sexual and asexual reproduction? Yes, sexual reproduction needs two parents and the offspring not typical to the parents, while asexual reproduction needs just one parent and the offspring typical to the parents. What do living things need? Water, air, a place to live, and food. So, these are the necessities of life. Let's start with water. Of course, we know that our body mainly or mostly made of water from 70 to 80%. And cells inside our body needs water to keep the environment stable and also the chemical reactions which happens during our metabolism needs also water. And of course, we lose water during you breathe, sweat, get rid of wastes like urine. So we have to recycle water again and drink water properly. Number two, air. We know that air consists of mixture of gases like oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon dioxide. And oxygen help the breakdown of food inside our body and to release energy using to do all activities, while green plants need carbon dioxide gas to make its own food. And now with quick check. Number one, why do cells need water? Yes, to live as our body needs water and chemical reactions inside our body also needs water. And now, why this spider, this picture, surrounds itself with a bubble in the water? Yes, because organisms get water from the fluids they drink and the foods they eat. So, to take the proper amount of water it needs. A place to live. We know that organisms look for an area that has everything they need to survive. So, like us, we live in the same area, in the same place, and also share some resources, such as food and water. Food, of course, all of us love food and love to eat food, and we couldn't live without food. Why? Because food gives organism energy and nutrients. Nutrients here means metals, vitamins, which we take it from food and necessary for our life and to grow too. We can classify organisms according to how they get food into three categories. Number one, producers. Two, consumers. Three, decomposers. Let's start with producers. What amigo producers? Like plants and some bacteria and protists. And here, the picture for protists, like one cell consists of nucleus and can do all activities. They use sun's energy to make food from carbon dioxide and water. And you know, as we take in the second quarter, this process called photosynthesis. Number two, consumers. Each consumer eat other organisms to get food. Like this frog in this picture is a consumer. Why? Because it eats insects. So all animals are consumers. Number three, decomposers. And decomposers means that these organisms break down dead animals or dead organisms and animal wastes to get food. Like these pictures for mushroom, different mushroom, and mushrooms are decomposers. And also, decomposers play an important role in our ecosystem. That we know that without decomposers, dead organisms and wastes would pile up all over the earth. We couldn't find a space to live in. And now, time for questions. Number three, explain why do living things need food? Yes, to take their need of energy. Well done. Number four, identify, are you a producer, consumer, or decomposer? And explain your answer. Of course, we are consumers because we feed on plants and animals. And what are the organisms? What are the main elements we take from food? We take proteins, nucleic acid, lipids, and carbohydrates, and also ATP. Let's start with proteins. Proteins are large molecules made up of smaller molecules called amino acids. As we know, the amino acid, the smallest unit or the building block for proteins. And proteins are very important inside our body and make different functions. Like enzymes, enzymes consist of proteins or made of proteins, and the role of enzymes help to start or speed up the reaction inside a cell. Also, we can find protein form in the form of hemoglobin inside your red blood cell. As you can see here, this red cell is called red blood cell. And inside it, hemoglobin molecule. And hemoglobin molecule can catch the oxygen molecules from outside, then start to deliver the oxygen through the body. Now, question number 6, complete. Proteins are made up of, yes, amino acid unit linked together. Now, nucleic acid. What the meaning of nucleic acid? Nucleic acid are molecules made of smaller molecules called nucleotide. As we said in proteins, the smallest building unit called amino acid. Nucleic acid is a molecule which the smallest building unit called a nucleotide. Okay, and now also what the meaning of nucleic acid? Nucleic acid like the DNA double strand. And this strand you can see here consists of nucleotides connected together in this strand. And DNA nucleotides or its sequence tell us about the protein will be made. So the DNA tell us the specific type of protein will be made or the specific type of amino acid will be formed to form together the protein. So there is connection between the amino acids in protein formation and the DNA. As DNA nucleotide tell us the type of amino acid will be formed to form a specific protein. Number 3, lipids. Lipids, also molecules, big molecules, cannot mix with water. And we can see it in two forms. In animals, we can see it like fats, like butter, while in plants, we can see it like oil, the form of oil, liquid. And they are form of stored energy. So lipids inside our body is the storage energy, is a form of stored energy. As our body, when we cannot see or find carbohydrates as a source of energy, it starts to break down lipids to release the stored energy. What the importance of lipids? Here we can find lipids in some molecules like phospholipids. Here the structure of cell membrane, okay? And cell membrane, not thin layer as we draw it. No, it consists of two layers or bilayers. Bi means two. The two layers or the bilayers consist of phospholipids. And phospholipids here, in this layer, and the inner layer also consists of phospholipids. So what the structure of this phospholipid consists of head from outside and tail to the inner side. Okay? Okay. Number 3, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are molecules made of sugar. So when we say sugar, yes, it's carbohydrates, but all carbohydrates sugar only? No, we have different forms of carbohydrates. As you can see here, monosaccharides like glucose, fructose, galactose, and it's called simple carbohydrates, okay, made of one or few sugar molecules like glucose. And second picture, as you can see here, cycles connected together, more than one sugar connected together, linked together, like starch, glycogen, and fiber. And in this case, they called complex carbohydrates. So we have two types of carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates like glucose, made of one or few sugars, and number 2, complex carbohydrates, made of hundreds of sugar molecules linked together. And now time for questions. Identify relationships. What is the relationship between amino acids and nucleotides? As we said, nucleotides are the basic units of DNA, which each sequence tell us about the type of amino acid will be formed to form a specific protein. 9. Describe the structure of phospholipid and how it behaves in water. It consists of head and tail, head and tail. And when phospholipids are in water, the tail ends of the molecules come together, and the head, like this pink layer, the head ends face out. So the head face out or faces water from outside, while the tail be inside. Identify what are two types of carbohydrates. Yes, simple and complex. Complete the table to explain the two types of carbohydrates. Type of carbohydrate here, missing, but here complex. So the first one, which is made of one or few sugar molecules, is simple molecules. Can use marker here. Yes. Simple. Simple. Yes. And example for simple, like, yes, of course, like glucose. Have another types, like here, glucose. Glucose. Okay. And now complex carbohydrates, its structure made of one more than, yes, it consists of hundreds of sugar molecules. Mark. Yes. Great job, guys. And here, example for it. Yes. Well done. Like storage. Yes. Okay. Now we have to release. Use our eraser. Okay. Thank you. Okay. To sum up what we studied today, why organisms need food, water, air, and living space. And number two, we studied or learned about chemical building block like proteins, the amino acids, forming proteins like nucleotides, forming nucleic acid like DNA, like sugar units, if it's just one or few molecules, forming simple carbohydrates, or if there are hundreds, forming complex carbohydrates. And don't miss our homework for today to do PowerPoint presentation on section 2 in this section. And you can find the contents of this section in the booklet on Edmodo. And section 2 review, page 192 in the green interactive. And finally, thanks for watching. See you next session. Bye.